Hey guys, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about some forbidden romance books, and I'm very excited for this video. The first book I want to talk about is one by Pam Godwin, and I always forget the name of it, and that's Knotted by Pam Godwin. This one is one of probably one of her most underrated romances that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, considered to Sea of Ruin and some of her other books. So this one is a series where it's like a dark cowboy romance series, and so the first one is pretty dark. The reason why I think this is a little bit forbidden is because it is brothers, like best friend romance, but they also kind of have a thing for each other. They're also really good friends to lovers, and it turns a little hate to love. This is a very complicated story, but I love it. So our heroine and hero grew up together. They both had like farms next to each other, and one night something really horrible happens, and the heroine has to leave, and then she doesn't come back for years and years, and then now she's back in town and he kind of brings her back, and it's a little bit of a complicated thing. But the one way I can describe this book is it's kind of like Yellowstone. But like it's kind of like a Yellowstone feel, if you know the show Yellowstone, and the more feel is like the Rip and Beth kind of feeling, and our heroine has a lot of demons to work through because of what happened to her that night. Trigger warning for sexual assault and rape. But I just loved this book. I thought there were so many emotions in it, and they have to also like find the guys that like basically went on their land that night and all this crazy stuff. It's very action-packed. I don't want to spoil too much because this book is just kind of like a wild ride. So if you like Yellowstone, if you like cowboy romances, if you like dark romances, this one is definitely for you. It's very angsty. It's just this kind of feeling of like, are they going to be together? They like love each other so much. Lots of mutual pining. But I just love this book. I found it so much fun. I absolutely adore. This is my favorite in the series. I've read the first two, but this is definitely my favorite. So definitely go check this one out if you really love dark cowboy romances. Because this one is perfect if you like all of those things. And the next book I'm going to share with you is The Marquess Makes His Move by Diana Quincy. So I absolutely adore this book. I have mentioned this book so many times on my channel, I feel like, but it's just so good. This is an amazing historical romance. Oh, I should have also mentioned the first book because I forgot to mention that one, but I'll put it up on the screen. The first book is also amazing. This whole series is kind of all like forbidden romances. The first book is really unique. So our heroine, she meets this guy at this like inn, and they have a one night together, and then the next day she sees him because she is traveling to visit her stepdaughter, and she's going to get married or engaged to somebody, and he is there when she shows up, and he is the one that is supposed to marry her stepdaughter, and so it gets a little complicated. But this one is the third book, and our heroine is a map maker, and to inherit her, I think it's like her uncle's shop, she has to marry somebody, and so she marries this guy. She thinks she likes him. She just marries him because she wants to keep her map making business, and he ends up taking over the map making business, and he starts basically like, she makes the maps because he's not a very good map maker, and he takes all the credit for her maps. And so the hero is a Marquess, and he was cheated out of land by one of the maps that her husband made. And so now he's going undercover as a manservant to kind of figure out what happened, get some intel, get the juice. And he is the manservant for the heroine, and it's their romance, and it's really good. It's very angsty, forbidden. The husband does not die, but something kind of twisty happens in this one that I really enjoyed, like a big plot twist that I absolutely adored, and they do end up together in the end. There's an HEA, but this one is just so good. I really loved it. I loved the angstiness of it, the forbiddenness, and I loved, he is a Marquess, and so he's pretending to be a manservant, so he's down there with all of the servants and getting to know them, and he kind of realizes that like servants aren't treated that well. And he has his own servants, so when he goes back home, he starts doing really special things for them, and he will sometimes bring over like different amenities and stuff for the other servants that he's working with. And they're like, how did you get all this stuff? And he's like, well, I have this cousin who's a seamstress or a baker or whatever, so that he can like give them stuff. And it's just so cute. I really love that about this book. But it is just such a great historical romance. I absolutely enjoyed this one. Of course, I had to mention Heartless by Elsie Silver. This one is incredible. I read it in 2022 and it was amazing. So this is a single dad nanny romance. And so their meet cute is so hilarious. Cade, I just love Cade. He is just so hot, and he's one of my favorite heroes ever. And so Willa and Cade, they kind of meet in this weird meet cute, which is like hilarious. And she's in town because she's best friends with the heroine of the first book. And the hero needs a new nanny, and she's like, well, I can do it. And he's like, no way, you cannot do it. And in his mind, he just wants to not like her. He wants to hate her, but that's because he's so attracted to her. And it is so funny. He has a son who's 5 years old, and she starts being his nanny, and they have these little moments like hand touches and little things like that. And he's very protective over his son and Willa, and it is just, ooh, it is good. I just love this book so much, and it's very angsty, forbidden, because they're like, well, we can't be together. That's wrong. But then they get together, and it's cowboy, small town. It is just so amazing. I love this book so much, so if you definitely want a very spicy, good single dad romance, definitely check this one out. The next book I want to share with you is Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. This is a stepsister, stepbrother romance, and so the hero is probably like 10 years older than the heroine, so there's a bit of an age gap. And they absolutely detest each other. They've always hated each other until one day he's like part owner of a pleasure club, and he is like scrolling the internet, like webcam videos and all this stuff, and he finds her on one of the webcam videos and watches her. And it is just so funny because he's like, holy crap, like, she is gorgeous. I've never seen this side of her before. Like, she's just beautiful. I cannot believe this. Like, this is my stepsister. What the hell? And so they have a family lake house, and she's up at the lake house, and he doesn't usually go, so he decides to go to kind of see if he's still really attracted to her. And so he goes up, and he actually also on the down low started messaging her on the webcam app, but he is pretending to be somebody else. So there's a little mystery there, and they kind of start up a romance, like kind of a hate to benefits kind of thing. Like, they both still don't like each other, but they're starting to get to know each other because they've always had this like animosity, hate towards each other. But now that they are starting to explore a relationship, they're getting to know each other more. And the hero deals with a lot of mental illness, and I really loved how that was portrayed in this book. It was done very well, and I just love this book. It is very spicy and just such a fun time, but also has a lot of depth to it and emotional parts of this book. So I just love this one so much. It is so good. Next book I want to share with you is What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. This book is so good. So our hero and heroine were in a relationship before, and he is a lot older than her, and like maybe like 10, 15 years older, maybe even 20, I'm not sure. But, and he's also her parents' best friend. So they already had a relationship, but then they broke up, and now she's actually engaged to somebody else, and he was the one who kind of broke up with her, and he's like, well, wait, I still love you and I still want to be with you. So he comes back into the picture, and it's like, you're mine, I want to be with you, like, we should give this another shot. And she's like so shocked because she's like, well, why didn't you say any of this, 3 years ago? And so they start having a little bit of relationship. There is some cheating in this one, but I loved it. I love their relationship and how much he cares for her and wants her, and it's like just like realizing like he can't live without her, and the thought of her marrying somebody else just like really struck with him. Like, he was like, that can't happen, like, I love you so much and I'd never want to let you go. And I just love that about this book. And there's lots of spicy scenes in this one. And Cupid Tyler is just so amazing at writing forbidden romance. And I just absolutely adore her writing. The next book I'm going to share with you is The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This is a boyfriend's dad romance. And so the heroine has been treated really badly by her ex-boyfriend. And she starts, I think, just like hanging out with like around the hero, Dr. Lowe. He's a doctor, and she like realizes like, oh, you know, she realizes like, oh, I actually like really like his dad. And so they kind of start up a relationship. It's very, very spicy. I feel like I did like the Pool Boy more than this one, but I still really like this one. And just the aspects of them having to like hide their relationship. And it's just like a really fun, good age gap forbidden boyfriend's dad romance. A lot more spicier, I feel like, than Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, which I love that book so much. This has a lot of this like similar vibes, and I really enjoyed this one. If you want just like kind of a low-key spicy romance, I recommend this one. The last book I'm going to talk about is Waking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke. So this one, I really, really love this one. So our heroine, she is really good track runner. I think it's track running, but she had a lot of problems at her other university where she had to move to this other university, which is the one she's at now, because I can't really remember exactly what happened, but she sleep runs, and that affects her running because she like runs really hard, and it's because she has a lot of trauma from her past. And so the hero is her coach, and she is like the best person on the team. Like she was at like a D1 school, and now I think she's at a D3 maybe. So they know she's like the best, and he knows he has to keep her accountable, and like knows that she's their best shot of going to like, I think like nationals maybe, I don't know. But he starts being really hard on her because she seems tired when they're doing practice, and he's like, don't run like outside of practice, but she does because she sleep runs. And so once he finds out about that, they start kind of forming this friendship relationship, where he will wake up with her and be there for her when she sleep runs. And it is just such a great story. He is in a relationship, so there is some like cheating, I think, but I just really love the story. I really connected to it. I love the forbiddenness of it. He's a couple years older than her, so it's not really a big age gap, but this book is just resonated with me so much, and I really, really loved it. I loved his family and how welcoming they were to her, and it's so good. All right, so that was the last book in this recommendation video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love forbidden romances. It's probably like one of my favorite tropes. I just think they are so fun, and they have so many aspects to them that I just absolutely love. Like I love the angstiness of it, and they can be in kind of any subgenre of romance, like dark romance, contemporary, whatever your heart desires, which I just love. And I just absolutely love forbidden romance. I just think it is one of the best tropes, and it just has my whole heart. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.